Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to AriesEDC. I got a really cool one today. Today is the Karbon Mini Buckhorn. That's right, the Karbon Mini Buckhorn. How stinking cool is that? Let me move this out of the way. So, it's been a while, but I did a review on the regular Buckhorn, and that thing was really, really cool. The big thing about what made it really, really cool is this handle. And this one is no exception. This is titanium that has been 100% milled out and contoured just like its older brother or the bigger brother, however you want to see it. But man, it is an awesome option from Karbon. And when I found out they were doing a smaller version, I was like, yeah, well, I gotta check that out. And so when I got the opportunity to check this out, I jumped on it. So here it is, the Karbon Mini Buckhorn. We have M390 steel, a titanium handle that has been milled out very nicely. You have all the milling lines, the diamond patterning here, the lines going this way. Everything that I loved about the larger version, they just did this one and just made it a little smaller. But is the smaller version as good? Well, let's find out. You have all of that nice contouring, and I wish more companies were doing the hourglass contouring, because it really does make a big difference when you have something in your hand. It is a flipper, which they have opened up that flipper. There we go. I don't know what that was all about. Hold on, I have to redeem myself. There we go. You just got to light switch it a little bit. It is a frame lock, so I guarantee I was pressing on the frame lock. There it is. There we go. So yeah, if you put any pressure on the frame lock, it is a little bit harder to open, I have found. And with it being a little bit smaller, that makes it a little bit more difficult to get all the fingers off of the body of the handle right down here. So a little harder to open, but once you learn it, you're good. It is a frame lock, so they didn't really give much extra to get your thumb in here, which maybe an issue being smaller, I'm not really sure, but you can get the tip of your finger in there, and then the action is very smooth, running on ceramic bearings, and that blade of M390 is really, really good. And just like the older brother, the thumb studs are just kind of built into all of the contouring of the handle, whether it's in the open or closed position. These thumb studs kind of follow the contouring of that blade and the handle. So, and they work very, very well. How does it feel in hand? Well, yeah, it's pretty good. This is almost a little too thin now, and I honestly, as much as I love small knives, because this is such a smaller purchase, it doesn't work as well as the larger one. But it's still very comfortable. This area locks you in fairly well, but it's a little too skinny. I'm gonna say it. It's just a little too skinny even for me. But it's good. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. It's comfortable. But the bigger one just kind of really fit my hand well. But I know it's a bigger knife. So in a smaller version, they almost didn't need to contour as much. Like the contouring is great, but maybe a little bit less would have been a little bit better. I don't know. It's just my impressions of this. The blade shape is still very interesting. You have that nice little extended drop, whatever you want to call that. I'm not going to get into what you call that blade shape. It is interesting. You have a nice belly and the tip kind of comes down where you're not as high if that was just came to a very point. At least now you have that little bit pointing down to really get into the packaging or whatever you're trying to open. But the action is good, and the overall view and the shape is interesting. I know a lot of people have been like, I don't know about that blade shape, and I'm there. It's interesting, that's for sure. But there are so many different unique blade shapes that are coming out. This is far less kind of scratch your head at that point with some of the stuff that's been coming out as of late. The clip is very nice. You have that milled titanium that I like how it kind of curves up and then goes down, and it matches everything, and it stays off of the lock bar. They actually have it milled right in there where it doesn't match up. So very, very cool. The Karbon Buckhorn. I don't know. I think they were almost there. I understand where they are going, but I feel like maybe this area just got a little too thin, and maybe it's because the lock bar is there. But it's still comfortable, easy to throw in the pocket, a great size. I don't need anything bigger than that on a daily basis, but that's just me. But all the details and everything that they've put into this is absolutely amazing. The bead blasted finish on that blade, again, really good. Nice swedge up there at the top, and they did it really well. M390, and they have listed the HRC as 59 to 61 HRC, which is not bad, and looks pretty stinking good. Let's talk about the size of this one. The size of this one is 7.32 overall, so just a little bit over 7.25 overall, and the blade length is 3.15. Of course, that's coming all the way back here to the beginning of the handles, and the sharpening edge is really at 3.3 inches even. Let's look at some size comparisons to this. We have that versus the Rat 2. Coming in almost. The Buckhorn is just a little bit bigger than the Rat 2, but the overall profile is very similar. And again, with the Elementum, we're looking at about the same, where the Buckhorn is just a little bit longer than the Elementum. But the overall profile with the blade and handle and everything is roughly about the same as both of these. What about the last size comparison? We'll move that up a little bit. Para 3, obviously the Para 3 is going to be a little bit more substantial in the handle, and the height of the blade is going to be a little bit more, but the overall, the Buckhorn is still just a little bit longer than the Para 3. So overall, a really great profile if you can understand that blade shape. But I don't think it's a really utilitarian blade shape, actually, because you're not you can actually don't have to be so high up when you're trying to make that cut. They do have this choke up position. I don't know if they meant that as a choke up position or just a large sharpening choil. The choke up position is a little small. It gets me right there up against the edge, which I'm not terribly comfortable with. I'd much rather be back here. But the pinch grip is great. Your fingers get right in that hourglass shape that's pinching in, and you can get here on the blade and make those cuts however you decide. So very, very cool. The Karbon Buckhorn, the mini Karbon Buckhorn. What do you guys think of that? I was excited to see the large version and super excited to see the mini version, and I'm glad that I got the opportunity to check this out. It is, I believe this version is still available on Kutuo's website, because Kutuo is the OEM for this knife. So if you go to Kutuo.com, you can look up mini Buckhorn and you'll find this for sale, $215, M390 full contoured and milled and shaped titanium. That's really not a bad deal, guys. Not a bad deal. And there might be some other online retailers that might have them in stock for a little bit cheaper of a price. But for right now, I'm going to put the link to the Katuo website in the description of this video so you can check that out. So thank you guys so much. Please remember, subscribe, like, leave a comment, or not. That choice is always yours.